What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Houston Rockets have traded guard Russell Westbrook to the Washington Wizards for point guard John Wall and a first round draft pick. This trade had been discussed for the last several weeks by both teams, but General Manager Stone had held out and said, look, if I trade Russell Westbrook, I want an elite player and an asset. And the Washington Wizards, after balking for several weeks, trying to do the deal straight up between Russell Westbrook and John Wall, they finally obliged and threw in their first round draft pick. And now the trade has been consummated, and Russell Westbrook is now a Wizard, and John Wall is now a Rocket. Let's talk about how this looks for both teams as far as impact both players will make on the team that they've been traded to. Now, as far as the Washington Wizards go, they're going to have a dynamic backcourt. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. They're going to put up a lot of points. They're going to push the pace. Russell's going to get to the rim. He's going to shoot it out to the three-point line, and Bradley Beal's going to get a lot of great looks. And if they get any kind of inside play, they should be maybe scratching and clawing for a 7th, 8th seed in the NBA's Eastern Conference. Now, as far as the Rockets goes, John Wall, he's a pure point guard. He's probably the fastest guy in the NBA with the ball in his hand on the break, and that's saying something. Russell Westbrook is got a speed out the wazoo too when he's pushing that ball on the fast break. But I actually think John Wall is just a slightly faster on that fast break, and he's more of a pure point guard. So James Harden's gonna have to play off the ball. The new head coach Silas is gonna stress ball movement. They're gonna be running a little bit more motion into the offense. They're still not gonna shy away from the ISO ball that James Harden has won the MVP and been first team All NBA playing that style of ball. They're still gonna implement that, but it's gonna be kind of like when Michael Jordan got with Phil Jackson. They ran a triangle. But in the fourth quarter, it was like get the ball to Jordan, everybody get the hell out the way. And I think we're gonna see that play out as far as the Houston Rockets go. They're gonna run that motion first 3 quarters, but when the game's on the line, get the ball to James Harden, everybody get the hell out the way, or get the ball to John Wall, let him make a play for himself or one of his teammates, man. I think that's what they're gonna do, man. But they're gonna get a lot of motion. They're gonna stress ball movement, get guys like Eric Gordon more involved where they can get into a rhythm. Guys like Gerald Green, guys like Daniel House, guys like Sterling Brown, guys like Christian Wood gonna be touching the rock more than they would in Mike D'Antoni offense if he was still with the Houston Rockets. And it's gonna just be more ball movement. Teams gonna be able to better be more efficient and be able to score. Maybe not score at a higher rate than they did under D'Antoni, but be more successful in the playoffs when teams kind of, basically, trap James Harden, get the ball in his hand, and then react and get out on the three-point shooters. And when you don't have pure shooters, as the Rockets didn't have throughout this small ball that they was playing in this Mike D'Antoni layups and three offenses they played, they've added some better shooting than Christian Wood, better big man shooting than Christian Wood, and better outside shooting than Ben McLemore, as he was somehow put in the doghouse at the end of the season by Mike D'Antoni. Didn't really play and really wasn't no factor late in the season for the Houston Rockets. So hopefully that'll change though. But I think this is a good trade for both teams, man. Obviously James Harden and Russell Westbrook grew up in the same area, Los Angeles, California. They grew up together, played against each other in the early days of their basketball career. But it found out even though you're good friends off the court, on the court, your games didn't exactly mesh well together, as James Harden had graduated from being that six man from Oklahoma City that came off the bench and was more of a point guard and a ball distributor to one of the best one-on-one players in the NBA, a guy that dominates and a guy that likes to play ISO ball, and that's the same type of ball that Russell Westbrook had to play. And him coming to James Harden team, he found himself playing off the ball more. I think James Harden's going to play more off the ball with John Wall, because John Wall is a guy that can make good passes, he can run the offense, and he's a better three-point shooter than Russell Westbrook. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he's better than Russell Westbrook. So I think it's a good trade for both teams. Russell Westbrook wanted to go somewhere where he can run the show. He'll definitely be able to do that. He's going to be playing with another all-star guard in Bradley Beal. They're in the Eastern Conference. Maybe they can fight for a 7th or 8th seed. They was in the running last year with all the injuries they had, and John Wall missing, majority of the season last season. So with a healthy Russell Westbrook, they think they can make a play for the 7th and 8th seed. And that's going to be the key for John Wall, man. He's missed a lot of time due to injuries. He had Achilles injuries that took him out for long stretches, and he's been missing a lot of times. He hasn't really played in the NBA game in 2 years, so that's going to be the key. And that's why General Manager Stone was was emphatically asking for a draft pick, and specifically a first-round draft pick, because Russell Westbrook has shown to be the more healthy player than John Wall. You see both of their games, and Russell Westbrook has accomplished more in the NBA than John Wall. Russell Westbrook is a former MVP. He's made the All-Star team a whole lot of times. John Wall has made the All-Star team, multi times himself, but not as much as Russell Westbrook. And again, his injury history is something that you're gonna have. It's gonna be a red flag as far as the Houston Rockets go. And hopefully he's over those injuries, and hopefully he's got his body in the right type of shape, and he'll be able to sustain and play a 72-game regular season and into the playoffs. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what transpires. But again, breaking news. The Houston Rockets have traded guard Russell Westbrook to the Washington Wizards for point guard John Wall and a first-round draft pick. Again, Russell Westbrook will be reunited with his former head coach at Oklahoma City, Scott Brooks, who behind the scenes really pushed for this trade. And despite the general manager of the Washington Wizards saying that John Wall did not demand a trade, and we're happy with John Wall, and we look forward for him playing with us in the 2020-2021 season, it was all smoke and mirrors, ladies and gentlemen. And it was just a matter of they finally obliged the Rockets and gave them that first-round draft pick. Because I think that's the only thing that was holding this trade up. Washington wanted to do it straight up. They wanted to do it John Wall for Russell Westbrook straight up. They thought they had the leverage over the Rockets. The Rockets said, we got Russell Westbrook for the next 2 to 3 years. So we don't have to trade him. So if he don't give us what we want, he can just stay here and play it out with James Harden. Same thing with James Harden. James Harden has been rumored to been asking for a trade to the Brooklyn Knicks or the Philadelphia 76ers. And General Manager Stone say, look, he's got another 2 years with us. There's no pressure for us to trade him. We don't mind being uncomfortable. So, you're going to have to give us an elite player, draft pick, and probably another solid rotation players. And for James Harden, we're not gonna give him up for 15 cents on a dollar. You got to give us something that we can't turn down. And so far, they haven't gotten that type of package. And now James Harden's looking to be with the Rockets in the 2020 and 2021 season. So we'll see how both teams play out. I like the Rockets, man. I think they got a chance to get the second seed in the Western Conference behind the Los Angeles Lakers. I think they'll be in a battle with the Portland Trail Blazers and the Phoenix Suns, who's my dark horse team, and the Denver Nuggets. If Porter comes and beats that third option to Murray and Joker, I think those three teams will be battling for that second spot behind the Los Angeles Lakers. Let me know your thoughts on this mega trade involving the Houston Rockets and the Washington Wizards. Let me know. And subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I'll holla.